Braves, Yankees, Chris Sale versus Gerrit Cole in Yankee Stadium. It's the best game of the day. Let's talk about it. Yes, this is your Braves Today scouting report, a production of the Belief Podcast Network and presented to you by FanDuel. I'm Lindsey Crosby. In the next 15 minutes, we're breaking down everything you need to know before first pitch. Today, it's the Braves and the Yankees in Game 2 of their series, so let's get into it. Both teams have put out their lineup for the day. For the Atlanta Braves, they are continuing to do the load management. Drake Baldwin leading off at catcher, followed by Ronald Acuna Jr. at designated hitter, batting second. Matt Olson batting third at first base. Michael Harris II checks back in the lineup in center field, followed by Ozzie Albies batting fifth at second base. Mauricio Dubon in left field, batting sixth, which bumps Mike Yastrzemski to his more natural preferred position of right field, batting seventh. Austin Riley's at third base, batting eighth. And we get the lefty Jim Jarvis back in the lineup, batting ninth. I really do think this is becoming a big day, for a big game for Jim Jarvis. He's won for his last 15. And since July 23rd, he's hitting 139 with a 372 OPS. We all love the story of Jimmy Baseball. He's got to produce. And I think today is a sign. I'm not going to say it's a sign of anything, but it's definitely them, we need to see him going because you've got Ha-Seong Kim, you've got him, you've got Mauricio Dubon. The load management concept only works with Dubon if one of those guys can hold down shortstop. So let's see what happens there. On the mound for the Braves is Chris Sale, 12-6 with a 2.08 ERA. Some of the estimators are a little bit lower on him than that actual ERA, right? 3.07 expected ERA, 2.46 fielding independent pitching. But it's a 30% strikeout rate, which is one of the best in baseball. It's a 5.5% walk rate, one of the best in baseball. He continues to be amongst the league's best starters. And you love a great Chris Sale day. Some interesting kind of notes here. One, the stuff is getting better, right? Four-seamers averaging 96. It's a full tick above where it was last year. The slider has a 38.5% whiff rate. Opponents are hitting 184 off of Chris Sale's slider. He's that guy where you know what it's going to be. It's going to be four-seam slider. You just got to hit it. And that's easier said than done, right? That's just, you got to hit the slider. You know it's coming. You know that's his put-away pitch. You got to hit it. He has allowed 3 earned runs in 19 innings since the All-Star break, with 26 strikeouts to 1 walk. The thing is, though, this is his first start since July 29th. So 9 days of rest. Is he a little bit rusty, right? Like, what does it look like for Chris Sale having not had a start in 9 days? Is he a little bit iffy on his locations early? We'll see what happens. The only hits on the Yankees roster off of Chris Sale: Ahmed Rosario is 2 for 9, Heliot Ramos is 1 for 8, and Jose Caballero is 1 for 1. And conveniently, they're all in the lineup today for the Yankees. Paul Goldschmidt leads off at first base, followed by Ramos there in left field, batting second. Ben Rice is the DH today, as he is whenever Goldschmidt's in the lineup, batting third. Ahmed Rosario takes over for Ryan McMahon at third base, batting cleanup. Trent Grisham in center field, batting fifth. Prospect George Lombard Jr. At shortstop, batting sixth. Spencer Jones in right field, batting seventh. Jose Caballero is in there at second base, batting eighth. Hopefully we'll get to see him try to bunt with 2 strikes again. That was funny yesterday. And Austin Wells batting ninth behind the plate. So days off for both Ryan McMahon and Jazz Chisholm. They'll be available off the bench, and I'm sure Chisholm will get into the game at some point in time. Starting for the Yankees, Gerrit Cole, 5-5, 3.42 ERA. The estimators say that's pretty much where he should be, right? 3.40 expected ERA, 3.65 fielding independent pitching. Strikeout rate's just under 26%. Walk rate is within 0.1% of sales at 5.6%. But unlike Chris Sale, he's really struggled with this revamped arsenal at both getting chase and missing bats. He's still getting the strikeouts, but he's doing it with a 21.5% whiff rate, which is 20th percentile in baseball. He's barely getting any ground balls, and he is getting hit pretty hard. And because of the lack of ground balls, he's given up a lot of barrels. So there is a path to be successful here off of Gerrit Cole. And really, it's the lefties trying to elevate. He's allowing only a 203 average to lefties, but they've hit 9 of the 11 home runs he's given up. And his homer rate per 9 innings is 1.68 against lefties. It's more than double what righties have produced. Also, 8 of those 11 homers have come at Yankee Stadium. So he's getting short porched. And so Atlanta's lefties in the lineup today, you have to feel like, hey, you should be trying to elevate the ball to the pool side, right? You're Drake Baldwin, you're Matt Olson, you're Michael Harris, you're Mike Yastrzemski, you're Jim Jarvis. I don't know if Jarvis is going to get a home run today or not. He doesn't have very many of those, but the rest of those guys be trying to elevate pitches to the pool side. And also on that note of Matt Olson, he is 0 for 21 against Gerrit Cole with 14 strikeouts. The caveat here is they haven't faced off since 2021. That was all while Olson was in Oakland. So there you go. The arsenal now is a little bit different after the surgery. He got rid of the cutter. He's ramped up his changeup usage, and the curveball doesn't have nearly the same amount of success as it normally did, right? 2024 before the surgery, 30% whiff rate, 239 slug on the curveball. Right now, 20% whiff rate, so it dropped 10%, and the slugging's gone from 239 to 515. And even the four-seam fastball, it's like his main pitch, almost 50% usage, averages 97. Whiff rate's barely 21%. Like none of his pitches get a whiff rate of more than 25%. And the stuff plus is like a 102. So everything under the hood says that he's getting a lot of his strikeouts because of his control. He's getting them because of called strikes, more so than just getting a ton of chase or pure bat missing ability. And so the path for Atlanta here, especially for the lefties, is you should be looking at firing off ace swings in the zone, right? Punish a curveball that gets hung. If a sinker links into the zone, pop that. But you should be looking at doing the absolute most that you can at his fastballs to get them in the air. Because, again, nothing's been great. He also has a lot of issues third time through the order. A lot of pitchers do. His ERA is like 5.65, and his strikeout rate is 16%, and his walk rate is 11.8% the third time through. So obviously, if he gets to that point, there's the ability to get some success off of him. The way that he uses these things against lefties, it's a pretty standard fastball, changeup, slider, curveball arsenal, right? He does ramp up changeups a little bit when he's ahead. He does cut them back when he's behind, but for the most part, this is what it is. Against righties, again, very minimal adjustments. He ramps up the sinker use early at the expense of the four-seamer, and then he reverses that trend and goes more four-seamer with 2 strikes. He's also been very, very good, as a guy with low walks would be, at putting the first pitch in the zone. So you know you're going to get first pitch strikes, and oftentimes you know it's going to be a fastball. Ambush some stuff today. The bullpen status for both teams, wildly different. Atlanta's bullpen is a massive yikes. This is a red flag. Victor Medeiros is probably going to get multiple innings today because he threw 32 pitches on Thursday, but just about everybody else has either been bad or worked. Danny Young threw 26 on Thursday. Maybe he's available. Brent Suter threw 36 pitches on Thursday. You probably have to bring him back with just one day off, and that's part of what AA said they liked about Suter is how often he could throw. But Dylan Lee threw 30 last night. Raisel Iglesias threw 30 last night. Didier Fuentes, they've been really hesitant to use him in a back-to-back. He threw 13 last night. Second outing in 3 days. You have to wonder, would they be comfortable bringing him back on a back-to-back? They may not have an option here. Tyler Kinley has pitched a back-to-back, 30 pitches across the last 2 days. And Dylan Dodd only threw 6 pitches last night, but it was his third outing in 4 days. Third outing in 4 days. So you know that Young and Medeiros are going to be available. Suter's probably available. You're going to need somebody from that leverage group unless Chris Sale can give you a lot of length. It's really not a good place for the Braves bullpen to be. You don't want to go into a start thinking you need your starter to throw 7 innings, but like, hey, Chris Sale, we need you to throw 7 innings. We need that from you if we can. For the Yankees, the leverage guys all through last night, none of them had prohibitively high pitch counts, right? Fernando Cruz, 21 pitches. They probably want to give him off if they can, but he can pitch today if he needs to, right? Tim Hill threw 10. Brent Hedrick threw 19. David Bednar threw 10. They're good to go with just about everybody today. They shouldn't really have any guys down because of pitch counts or because of recent usage. Again, they probably want to give Fernando Cruz, but that's a want, not a need, right? They don't have to give him the day off. Final thoughts on this one. Golly. Braves are a favorite on the money line. They're going to be favorites in every Chris Sale start, just about. Braves Today sponsor FanDuel has Atlanta at -138, New York at +126, and the over-under here, 7.5 runs. It's very, very low. This is going to be a low-scoring game, as it usually is when you get 2 aces battling, as it was last night. There was 5 total runs scored last night, even with going to extras. But the path here, like, each team has things in their favor, right? Sale has the more dominant stuff and ability to give length. Gerrit Cole has the bullpen advantage. He's also at home. But the path here, I imagine this is up to Atlanta's offense. If those lefty power hitters can take advantage of the fact that Cole gives up both homers to lefties and homers at home, Atlanta probably wins this game. But if they can't seem to figure out Gerrit Cole's fastball, and they can't seem to put a couple balls over the fence in the short porch, probably going to be a series loss for Atlanta, and they'd be going into Sunday hoping to not get swept. That's your Braves Today scouting report. If you want the deeper analysis, the lineup breakdowns, everything behind the numbers, make sure you're subscribed to Braves Today. Enjoy the game. We'll be back after it with the postcast over on Locked On Braves. And today's 3 things are written game recap over at bravestoday.com.